Okay, now that we have two of our paths drawn, we have our big section drawn and we have a smaller section drawn. We are going to use these paths to clip a gradient in here and try to repaint the top of this lantern project. So we are going to create a new layer. You won't be able to see this, but just create a new layer, and we're going to call that layer gradient. And then I'm going to click on my rectangular marquee tool, and I'm going to drag out a box to put the gradient into. And then we have to generate the gradient, or create a gradient based on these colors. So the keyboard shortcut for the gradient tool is G. And if we go all the way up to our toolbox and click on the actual gradient, it brings up a dialog box for our gradient editor. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on one of these stops, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to sample some of that green that's in the actual photograph. Then I'm going to click on this rightmost color stop, and I'm going to come over here and sample some of that green from the lantern. And then I'm going to click down here to create another color stop, and I'll go over here and sample some of this lighter green. And we can move these stops around however we want to. We can, if we hold down Option, we can duplicate those stops. So I'm going to Option and kind of bring some of that gray or that darker color in. And once we are comfortable with the gradient, kind of the colors, I might go ahead and brighten that center one up a little bit. And I might double click on this one and brighten it up a little bit. And I'll say New. We'll click OK. And now I have a new gradient. I'm just going to click to the left hand side and drag to the right hand side to pull the gradient. So that's what we have, that gradient. And now I want to warp it or distort that gradient so it matches our path and our hood a little bit better. So I'm going to click on the layer and we'll go Command T. We'll turn our path off. Then I'll hit Command T. And then I'm going to bend these. I want them to kind of fit more accurately to the way our lantern is. So I'm just going to hold down Command. That allows me to manipulate just these corners. Okay, so I kind of have something to what I want. I'm going to drag this out so that it covers the entire lantern part that we're working on. Okay, and then what I want to do, I'm going to move our layers in here so that you can see this. Okay, so we're going to, actually what we're going to do is we're going to clip this gradient into our new path that we drew out over here. Okay, so I'm going to load this path. And then with my gradient selected, I'm going to go up here and say Layer, Vector Mask, Current Path. And you'll see that that gradient that we created is clipped inside of this clipping mask. And I can hold down Shift to turn that clipping mask off, and you'll kind of see that by manipulating that and turning that, transforming that shape, we now have kind of our smooth transitions from dark to light, dark to light. And that's it. We have a little bit more work to do on it, but we can do that in another video. All right, thanks.